Is in the hospital tonight, accused of stealing an ambulance out of Lufkin and then crashing it. The pursuit ended in the crash at a gas station on Dickinson Drive in Rusk, damaging a gas pump and the roof of the gas station. KLTV7's Tyree White has more tonight on how all of this started.
A man is accused of leading police on a pursuit on Loop 287 this afternoon. The man walked away from St. Luke's Memorial in Lufkin after being taken there by a family member. Police say he then stole a San Augustine County EMS ambulance and headed north on US 69. Lufkin police turned the pursuit over to the Texas Department of Public Safety and Cherokee County Sheriff's Office at 1:11 p.m. Cherokee County Chief Deputy Martin Pepin tells us how the ambulance ended up on its side at Kim's convenience store in Rusk.
Coming past this convenience store, it either turned and went around in a circle on a side street or just made a U-turn to come back traveling south. Traveling at a high rate of speed, the vehicle left the roadway, traveled a couple hundred yards through the ditch, and ultimately crashed into the gas pumps and the awning at this gas station.
Emergency personnel then arrived on the scene to contain the fuel spill as a result of the crash, and the driver was airlifted to a Jacksonville hospital. Pippin tells us what will happen next.
Obviously, Cherokee County will work in conjunction with Lufkin, PD, Angelina County to see how this all began, what all transpired there. Cherokee County will work investigate criminal offenses that occurred within Cherokee County.
Tyree White, KTRE, East Texas News 9.
The driver was the only person hurt in the chase and the crash. We're told warrants will be served to that man later since he's in the hospital right now.